Greetings, everyone, and happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Day 3 of your meditation boot camp.
Yes, and I hope you enjoyed this morning's meditation.
This is your educational video for day 3.
Mm-hmm.
And today we are going to cover the area of loving kindness meditation, or what we know in Buddhism as Maitri. Loving kindness is one of the 4 limitless qualities that we strive for in Buddhism, along with compassion, joy, and equanimity. So I would like to read you guys first a little bit, because nobody describes this better than Pema. So about the 4 limitless qualities, briefly. There's a little chant that we use in meditation. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the root of happiness. May we be free from suffering and the root of suffering. May we not be separated from the great happiness devoid of suffering. May we dwell in the great equanimity free from passion, aggression, and prejudice. This is the 4 limitless ones chant. And she goes on to talk about how it's up to us. We can spend our lives cultivating our resentments and cravings, or we can explore the path of the warrior, nurturing open-mindedness and courage. Most of us keep strengthening our negative habits, and therefore sow the seeds of our own suffering. The bodhicitta practices, however, are ways for us to sow the seeds of well-being. Particularly powerful are the aspiration practices of the 4 limitless qualities: loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. And when we talk about loving kindness specifically, traditionally it's said that the root of aggression and suffering is ignorance. And she goes on to discuss, what is it that we are ignoring? Entrenched in the tunnel vision of our personal concerns, what we ignore is our kinship to others. One reason we train as warrior bodhisattvas is to recognize our interconnectedness, to grow in understanding that when we harm another, we are harming ourselves. So we train in recognizing our uptightness. We train in seeing that others are not so different from ourselves. We train in opening our hearts and minds in increasingly difficult situations. And this is the root of Maitri, or loving kindness. So one of the essential practices is to cultivate this quality. And there's some Buddhist teachings where it is called placing our fearful mind in the cradle of loving kindness. Another image for Maitri, or loving kindness, is that of a mother bird who protects and cares for her young until they are strong enough to fly away. People sometimes ask, who am I in this image, the mother or the chicks? The answer is that we're both the loving mother and both those ugly little chicks. So when we can start to see that, this begins to soften us up, and it begins to help us to tap into our compassion for one another, because we realize we're not alone. So in cultivating loving kindness, we first train to be honest, loving, and compassionate towards ourselves. And tonight we're going to do a loving kindness meditation, and we're going to walk you through this. And it's a very beautiful thing to sit with yourself and start directing loving kindness and compassion to yourself. Rather than nurturing that self-denigration we're all so good at, we begin to cultivate clear-seeing kindness. Sometimes we feel good and strong. Sometimes we feel inadequate and weak. But like mother love, Maitri is unconditional. No matter how we feel, we can aspire to be happy. We can learn to act and think in ways that sow seeds for our future well-being, gradually becoming more aware of what causes happiness as well as what causes distress. Without loving kindness for ourselves, it is difficult, if not impossible, to genuinely feel it for others. This is how we begin as a whole, individuals and as a collective, to start moving away from aggression, is by practicing and directing loving kindness to ourselves, and we then move down the line and we start sitting in the same meditation, directing that same loving kindness towards others, till we go all the way down the line, till we're even sending it to, the person who drives us crazy, to random strangers. Did you want to?
Yeah, so something that I want to share is, I hear so much of the time, I hear people say, so-and-so's done this to me, and we've covered off on this. I'm not going to go into that has done this to me. That's a different topic. But when somebody is put out, attacked, offended by another person, and I say seek to understand them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't harbor resentment. Seek to understand.
Uh-huh.
And I hear back more often than not, that is so difficult. Do you know how difficult that is? Well, yes, I do, because I've come from that area as well. I know how difficult it is. But the reality here is, when I hear somebody say, it's so challenging, do you know how difficult it is to give love to somebody that's hurt me? My question is, why?
Because we can't give it to ourselves. Once we can learn to give that to ourselves, it stops becoming a problem to give it to other people.
Right, but it's not even that.
Because we see the interconnectedness.
When you're in that situation and somebody is struggling with some aspect that's pissing you off, or, you know, when you're saying I'm having such a hard time in understanding this person or giving this person compassion, ask yourself why. And sit with it. Sit with the question. Don't try to answer it. Just sit with the question. Why am I having such a hard time? And you'll be amazed at how simple the solution is.
And it's the key to it. You'll find it every time you read about this practice. And just as he started saying this, for instance, even in the rock hardness of rage, if we look below the surface of the aggression, we'll generally find fear. There's something beneath the solidity of anger that feels very raw and sore. Underneath the defensiveness is the broken-hearted, unshielded quality of bodhicitta. Rather than feel this tenderness, however, we tend to close down and protect against the discomfort. That we close down is not a problem. In fact, to become aware of when we do so is an important part of the training. And this is what Chris was just saying with the why. The first step in cultivating loving kindness is to see when we are erecting barriers between ourselves and others. This compassionate recognition is essential. So we train. This is a very real meditation practice that we train in awakening this within ourselves at the deepest level, you know? And by doing this, traditional formal love and kindness practice has 7 stages, like I said, and we're going to take you through this later tonight in your guided evening meditation. You start with yourself, you know, and there are aspirations and there are mantras you can use in this. And you start with yourselves, and then you expand it to include loved ones, people close to you, then friends, then neutral people, then those who irritate us, and then out to the whole world. And by filling yourself up and tapping into this love and kindness for the people that you genuinely do love first, it opens us up and allows that connection and softens us. And that's the key to loving kindness practice.
Definitely.
Is softening and tapping into that inherent softness that is known as the bodhicitta that is inside all of us.
Right.
You know, that core essence of who we are that allows us to just be human and raw and vulnerable with each other. Right?
Absolutely. So just take a moment and sit with that. And
think about it.
Like Lindsay said, we'll go through this as an actual meditation for tonight's session. But next time you find yourself triggered by somebody, shut your eyes and do your 3 anchoring breaths and fill your heart full of the love that you have for the person that you love the most on the planet. The one person that you absolutely adore. Fill your heart full of the love for them. And then allow that to overflow to the person that's triggering you. And see what a difference it makes.
And to yourself as well. You know, give it to yourself. And it's so crucial that if you can direct it to yourself, there's so much healing in that.
Right.
You know? And I love this. I want to leave you guys with this. Because they challenge us to the limits of our open-mindedness, difficult relationships are in many ways the most valuable for practice. The people who irritate us are the ones who inevitably blow our cover. Through them, we might come to see our defenses very clearly. There's nobody better to show us exactly where we are than someone who irritates us.
Right.
Shantideva explained it like this. If we wish to practice generosity and a beggar arrives, that's good news. The beggar gives us an opportunity to learn how to give. Likewise, if we want to truly practice patience and unconditional loving kindness and an enemy arrives, we are in luck. Without the one who irritates us, we never have a chance to practice.
Right on.
And this is why I absolutely love Buddhism, because you find these little pieces of humor in the irony of who can teach me best but my enemy.
Totally.
Right? So, you know, loving kindness is a beautiful, beautiful practice that we are going to introduce you guys tonight in your guided meditation. Feel free to research it today if you have time.
Please do research it, because we've touched this much of the surface.
We've just scratched the surface, right? Because in 10 minutes we could only give you, we could do a whole week on this. It's such
You could spend a whole lifetime on this and still not be a master of it.
It's very beautiful. So I do encourage you guys to read up on it, and I hope you're looking forward to the meditation this evening. Much love, everyone. We'll see you guys soon.